Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. Now I've decided to film the background of this page. Now this is from Hanna Karlzon's newest book. Now if you watch my review, unboxing, first impressions, you'll know that this is not my favourite Hanna Karlzon book. There is a couple of pages that I do really like, this one being one of them. But I still do want to use it, and I'm curious as well to see what a lot of watercolour would do to this paper, because I've used watercolour a lot in her previous books and never had an issue. You know, I have done this page and I haven't used watercolour with it, but I have used distress ink, and you can see where I've popped the water. There wasn't a lot going down as well. I'm full of a cold. I'm full of a cold, so if you can hear me sniffing up, I do apologise. I will try and edit out sneezes and that sort of thing. But yeah, that's why I've not been here. I'm ill again. So I'm using a budget friendly palette today, the Prima watercolour palette in Currants, and I thought this would be ideal because I want it to be all greens, turquoise and blue. That's my idea. Now I'm not going to stick to just one colour. I might be mixing colours. I'm going to activate every single one of these. So I've just got a little pipette and activate some of the colours. I mean, I'm going to leave this a good 3 or 4 minutes now. Don't do what I've just done. I put too much water in these two colours. Are going to leak together now, so don't do that. I'm even going to activate some of these colours that I've previously mixed as well. Now, if you've been on my channel for any time at all, you would have seen me do this method of backgrounds. Now, I don't worry. I mean, in the past I have, and I put masking fluid in tape and tried my best not to get on the illustration. But now I don't mind. I don't mind. My idea with this, I'm either going to use Inktense pencils or the Caran d'Ache Aqua Museum pencils. I used them last night on a page, and oh my god, they're beautiful. I think when I first got them I really didn't like them, but now I think because I've progressed a little bit in certain areas, I can appreciate them a little bit more now. So like I said, I'm going to leave this to activate. I've just put some tape around the edges. Now I'm testing this tape out. I'm forever buying new masking tapes, normal tapes. Every single one that I found rips on me, even the low tap ones, and then putting the tape on my pants, on my top, or a cloth to try and take some of the stickiness off, and they all seem to do the same thing. So I'm trying this. I actually bought this 2 Christmases ago to wrap presents, and I got like a 4-pack because they were reduced. So I thought, why not give this a try instead of using it on Isabel's books and magazines. So it's Scotch tape apparently. So yeah, I'll leave that for a couple more minutes and then come back when it's ready. Well, that was a very good job. I did pause it. So I'll start off with a flat brush. This is a Princeton Neptune square wash brush. I've got some, I want to say mostly clean water, but I used it for the Inktense last night, but it'll be fine. Just making sure that it's fully loaded and just popping it on there just to drain off the excess while I get my next brush. Got the Billy Shorewell number 6. This is fastly becoming one of my favourites. I think I'm just going to stick to this one actually. Or shall I go with the smaller one as well? Yeah, we'll go with the smaller one as well. A size T. So I'll load it up again. I'm not taking the excess off this time. Yeah, it's got a little bit of colour, a bit of purple in the water, but I'll be able to colour that up. I'm going to cover the whole of the page, even the centre. I'm not too fussed if the very centre isn't done. I don't actually plan on going there, but being messy with this. And the idea is, I just want to get it all over to let that water soak in to the paper. Give it a minute or so. I do apologise for being out of breath, I just can't breathe properly. Yeah, let it soak in and then put on another layer. Now what I like to do is just lift up the beak, put it in the light, and I can just check I've not missed any areas. Really good there, really good. So same thing again, the same water, and it will buckle your page, this, it definitely will. The thing that I'm concerned about is making the paper pill, like you add the paint over and over again and the paper just can't take it anymore. And it just sort of disintegrates. That's why you've got to be careful. So I think that'll be enough for now. I'm going to stick with this same brush. I'm going to use the colour that I've previously mixed, which is more of a, it's like a teal shade this. Add a bit of that green in there, why not? Add a bit more water. Now this is where you have to be quick and fearless. I want this as a light wash really. So just all over. And just be fearless. Just tell yourself it's just a colouring page, and when it's done, when it's dry, it will work out. And if it doesn't, you just try again on the next one, not to worry. Now I've got a nice wash all over. I'm going to stick with the same brush. I'm going to dip it in though so it's just a straight line. So I'm keeping it into a straight line. Pull in from the top. Just move that water. So some lines I want short, some I want a bit longer. Might have to load the brush up again. And it will dry a little bit lighter than what you're seeing here. So just like that. Same thing, but I use a different blue, going from the bottom to the top. I shouldn't have to load that up again, that colour is quite pigmented. And just spread it out evenly. Just want to keep these lines as best as I can. I'm going to clean my brush off, take off the excess, and go in between these just to sort of merge them together almost. I still want to leave some of that green poking through. Like I said, I'm honestly not worried about it going over the illustration, because especially if I'm using Inktense. Inktense will definitely cover it up. And I've finished with that brush for now. I'm going to go in that same colour that I used at the top. So hold my brush up fully. And I can be a little bit more precise where I'm adding the colour. As well as that, I want some of that lime green that we started off with. Actually, a little bit at the bottom, because I think that they go together really nicely. I'm trying to keep the lines as straight as I can, but you saw then I went a little bit off, but you can fix it as long as it's not dried. Now I won't use the heat gun with this page, and I'll have to probably come back tomorrow. It's going to take quite a while and it's later in the evening now. It'll take quite a while to dry, so yeah, I'll come back when it is fully dry and we'll take the tape off together, and fingers crossed it works and it doesn't rip the paper out. I've got a funny feeling it's already going to seep through there, so I'll have to do something with that border if that's the case. So I'm just going into the palette, picking up random colours here, colours that I think will go nice in certain areas. Before I leave you and come back tomorrow, I do want to leave this to dry just a little bit to come back and add a few more colours. I really like this shade, so let's add a little bit more down here, why not? Up and down motion. Like I said, I do want to leave some of that initial, that background colour still showing, so I can just play around with what I've already got. I'm not adding any more paint or water to the page now, just working with what I've got. I might steal a little bit of this shade, add it here, pull this one up, because this is actually meant to be a water scene. All this half of the page is meant to be water. I'm sure this will go together just fine. So I'll leave that for 5 or 10 minutes and then come back and just add a couple of finer details. So I've only left that literally 5 minutes. It might have even been a little bit less than that. I just want to mix a more diluted colour. I say that and it never ends up being too diluted. That shouldn't be too bad. Yeah, that's fine. But I want to pop some clean water, I say clean, it's got a bit of purple in it. Some clean water just to give the cauliflower effects as well. I think that would suit this page pretty well. And yeah, I'm going to have to be patient and leave it overnight. With this amount of water, I'm a little bit nervous about trying to take the paint off. So yeah. So in the centre here where the page is completely dry, you can get it into really sharp points because it's not trying to bleed into the other colours. So I might be able to just add a few more on this side as well to even it out. And it might look a hot mess now. They always do. They always do, but once they dry, they look far better, I promise. And especially when we've coloured the illustration. Please do let me know. I won't colour this picture, but it'll probably be a time lapse anyway, but if you'd like me to film it. I think the most interesting part of this page will be the background. That's why I thought it best doing it in real time. But while I'm feeling a bit under the weather, it's annoying me having my voice like this. I don't know what it's like listening to me. So with the size 6 brush knife, I've got a couple of drops of water, and this will just do its own thing, and you'll see the results tomorrow, which will be just a second for you. So yeah, just clean water, and I'm just going to pull this up over onto my desk and forget about it for the night, and then come back probably this time tomorrow, so it's going to have a good 24 hours to dry. So we are 24 hours later, maybe even a tiny bit longer, which I'm worried about how long I've left this tape on for. But it was the only time I could sit down and see. I knew that it had bled through, even in that corner there, and that's when I noticed it. So what I'll probably do with this one is paint on a black acrylic background. Now my major thing is I don't want it to rip. It can bleed all it wants, I just don't want it to rip. Let's get this piece that's wrapped around the side. Yeah, I can go over the top. It doesn't have to be black, I could use blues, greens, lime greens, whatever colour I like. But that's how it's turned out. It is a little bit crinkled there, but once I flatten this down and put it with the rest of my books, it'll soon flatten out, but I think it gives quite a cool effect. Now, like I said previously, I'm sure I said it, that because I'll be using either Inktense or some sort of opaque watercolour pencil, I'm not too worried about this, and it's going to be similar colours anyway. I'm really enjoying using a really limited palette at the minute. But yeah, just a simple background. What I'll probably do as well, once I've coloured the rest of the illustration, is add on some splatters of white. So I can't do that now because I don't want to get acrylic on there. I don't mind getting watercolour on the illustration, but not really acrylic. So yeah, that will have to be towards the end. But please do let me know in the comments if you want to see the rest of this page being coloured and it finished at the end. I mean, you'll see it in the finished pages, but in case you want to have a little nose at how I'm going to colour the rest of the page, please do let me know in the comments. But thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.